Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jatine Tinsley. Rod and Megan have the night off. The Nebraska Department of Education says students in our state continue to struggle with the remnants of the pandemic. Channel 8's Veronica Barreto joins us with the latest on how Nebraska student scores stack up against the rest of the country. Veronica?
Nebraska state assessment data was released on Wednesday, and it shows students' performances dipped during the pandemic, but they still scored higher than students in other states. The latest results of the Nebraska State Assessment Scores and an accountability study continue to show the pandemic impacted students. In the 2021-2022 academic year, 77,000 Nebraska students were chronically absent, meaning they missed 10% of their time in school.
Before the pandemic, this number was essentially half of chronically absent students. The fact that this number increased so dramatically in the middle of the pandemic and that has not yet recovered is one of those things that we have to get back to ensuring that we're addressing.
The recent study shows 47% of students were considered proficient in English. That's a 5% drop from the 2018 and 2019 school year. For math, the scores show a 6% decrease, with 46% of students considered proficient.
Students including from low-income backgrounds, students of color, students with disabilities, and students who are English learners, all seem to have more negative impacts on them over the course of the pandemic.
Commissioner Blumstead attributes the decrease in test scores to the pandemic. He says Nebraska students had less of a learning loss than those in other states.
We saw that Nebraska actually ended up that no state scored higher on fourth grade math than Nebraska did. We saw that eighth grade math was only one state scored higher.
The Department of Education also released accountability ratings for schools and districts, labeling them as excellent, great, good, or needing assistance. Lincoln Public Schools were classified as good. Commissioner Blumstead says that there are key investments the state needs to make in order to properly address the challenges shown on the results. Some of the key investments Blumstead says the Department of Education and the state need to make is legislation to retain teachers.
Thank you, Veronica.